It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! I did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. It's game day. Utah State taking on San Jose State. San Jose is not a state, but it's okay.
Neither is San Diego
or Fresno.
Neither Boise, Fresno.
But that's okay. We'll play along. But we'll continue to get you ready as you prepare to go up to the game to watch Utah State Aggies take on the San Jose State Spartans. And reminder, KVNU game day coverage will begin at 5. We're going to be competing head-to-head with J.D. Walker and Stockton Jukes. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, we'll see. Should we have a friendly rivalry?
Which text line gets the most action?
Technically, I'll be on KVNU. You'll hear my voice.
That's true. You'll be in 2 places at once.
Yeah. Tricky.
I should have been on there, but I had to run a piece of equipment down to Salt Lake that day at that time, so I missed out.
Had to do some important things. Quick note, 2444 asking if the podcast from yesterday's show got uploaded. We were having an issue with the website. I shouldn't say we were having an issue. Our podcast
host.
Yeah, the host had an issue. So for once,
thanks for the reminder.
For once, the podcast not going up was not our fault. It was somebody else's. So that will be up as soon as we can. As soon as we can get it.
It looks like it's working.
Did they fix it? Okay, so we'll get that up as soon as we can. Eric will probably upload it during the show at some point.
Starting now.
We'll see. I guess you have to add a description?
Yeah, I have to fill out all the details.
Yeah, we have to remember what we talked about yesterday.
I have to remember what we discussed.
I already threw away my my topic sheet from yesterday.
It might still be in the garbage over here.
Check the garbage. I know what we talked about in the first hour. It was all about...
Okay, I have it.
I think it's all crumpled up.
It's all crumpled up. Because when you're in here, you have to shoot hoops, right? So,
yeah.
Okay, I'll have it. So, right. I'll work on that as we are in progress.
Yeah, so
we're going to have a bunch of podcasts. Oh.
Don't fall out of your chair.
I don't slip out of my chair in the process. We're going to have a lot on the podcast feed today.
Yeah, so listen to your heart's content. All the preview for San Jose, of course, by the time we get off the show, it'll pretty much be time to go. I mean, heck, I'll technically leave the show slightly early. I usually like to arrive at the game an hour before, but I'll stay a little longer. I might only get there like 45 or 50 minutes before. So, the sacrifices I make.
It's the challenges that Jason overcomes.
Arriving at the game an hour early is a habit instilled in me by my grandfather.
Is that so you can make sure you get the right parking spot and get the pregame meal and all that
stuff? Well, big reason why I show up early, at least, or I still maintain that. Obviously, part of it's habit, and the other part is they do feed me at the football games. So, I got to be there for that.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it's literally free food. So
you don't pay to get in. You get a free meal. You're in an enclosed space. You don't have to deal with weather or cold temperatures.
Yeah, I have it pretty good. I have it pretty darn good. Although, funny thing is you do have to bring a jacket for like August and September games because it somehow gets cold in there.
They're cranking the AC.
Yeah, or the windows open, all that. Like, I don't know, it's tough having to bring a jacket. Like, I'll have to wear a jacket to this game as opposed to everyone else who really needs to bundle up.
Yeah, look, no weather tonight, so there's not going to be any rain. We've had plenty of rain in October. My gosh, it's been a wet October. But tonight, you're not going to have any rain. But dress warm. Yeah. It's going to be cool.
Dress warm, get a few layers, especially when your
sun goes down. You're going to feel it.
Yeah, when you're sitting around, you get cold. You're not moving. Obviously, when you're down on the field, like if you're moving around, you can kind of stay warm, especially if you're running around as one of the players. But yeah, sitting there, dress warm, few layers, maybe something to to have between you and the cold bench underneath, cold bleachers underneath. That's always a way to lose heat is through your butt into the seat. But yeah, should be a good one. I think tonight a lot of projections have this as a close game. I mean, we did our predictions yesterday, and we both had it as a one-possession game. I mean, a lot of the texters have it as a one or maybe two-possession game. Some obviously more optimistic than others. Some having it as a blowout. I think the largest margin in our score prediction here at Cache Valley Media Group was 35-17. I think you can see all of
something like that.
You can see all of our projections on CacheValleyDaily.com. We have our guide how to watch, all our predictions, links to other previews, everything you'd want, even a bunch of fun facts that I dig up. And by dig up, I mean I read off the game notes.
Right.
Most of those are just straight up
sharing information that's already provided to me.
Well, it's information provided to me that I then pass on.
Right, that you get to the more mass audience. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. This is, we're just a few hours away. Like, we gave our predictions yesterday. We got a lot of score predictions on the show yesterday. And congratulations to those who won our ticket giveaway. You were notified if you win. If you weren't notified, you didn't win. So better luck next time. But looking at this now, we're just a few hours away from kickoff. We're waiting for the final availability report, which was supposed to have been filed at 4:00 this afternoon. So when does that actually get posted by the Mountain West is a bit of a question. Maybe while we're on the show this afternoon.
Yeah, they publish so the ones due in the middle of the week. They're supposed to get them in by, I think, 4:00 Mountain Time, or like 4:00. I think it says 4:00 local time. I can look at the policy, but like it's due like early afternoon. Yeah, so the initial availability report is no later than 4 p.m. local time, and I don't know if that means local time like to where the game is happening, or local time to just wherever the school is at. So Utah State had to submit theirs at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, right?
Right.
And they didn't publish it until like the next day at 8 p.m. or something like that. Like, it might get submitted, but it doesn't get published to us until pretty late in the game. And I'm looking at the website now, and yeah, it's still updated as of October 15th.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 3 hours before kickoff. So the kickoff's at 7:00 tonight. So they were due by 4. When it actually gets updated and shared publicly, that's what we just don't know. Yeah, and there's been some inconsistency from the Mountain West.
Yeah, I don't even know if they've updated on the website itself the availability reports right before the game. Maybe I can check some of the archives, but the ones to watch, really 4 names to watch. 2 for Utah State, 2 for San Jose State. You have Walker Kessler, San Jose's quarterback, and then Danny Scudero, their star wide receiver, leading the NCAA in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and is second in total receptions. So 2 huge names, and really the 2 biggest ones, because for Utah State, there are some important ones to watch for. I should say Scudero and Eget were listed as questionable. That's why we're watching them.
Yeah, those are the biggest concerns for San Jose. There's a few other guys who are questionable, who will affect rotations in their depth, but those are the 2 stars that really make things happen for San Jose.
Yeah, and then for Utah State, you basically have a couple of rotation defensive players, I think starters for the last few weeks, I think. DeAndre Barnes, the cornerback, and edge rusher Will Holmes were both listed as questionable. We'll see whether or not they play today. So, because, questionable is supposed to be kind of a 50-50. They may or may not play. And so it's kind of a game time decision. And I imagine on an availability report, if they do end up publishing before the game, we would see it tip one way or the other. Out for the game, or maybe just taken off the availability report to where we know they're going to play. So those are the guys to keep an eye on as to whether or not they play, whether it's officially released by the Mountain West, or we'll get an idea and it'll be reported likely at either just before the start of game time, or maybe we'll just find out when some of these guys try out onto the field. But that's kind of the thing to watch for with availability reporting. Though I don't know if there's any context we can add because Coach Ken Niumatalolo.
You almost had it. You were so close.
I was going to butcher it anyway.
Ken
Niumatalolo. I believe he shared his thoughts, right? I don't have my cut sheet in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he mentioned something about both Eget and Scudero. Of course, this was earlier in the week. So I think it was even before the availability report came out. So these comments are almost a week old at this point. But still, there was one thing that he had to say. Do we have that clip?
Yep.
Working on it.
Give me.
I was trying to buy him as much time as possible.
You're trying to straight.
We do have a few texts. We'll get to a couple texts. Thanks to those a few people texting and saying thanks for the tickets. 9315, a couple of texts. Let's see, I think 4 texts. Says, did the Spartans originate from California? And also, did the Spartans have the Trojan horse that didn't work? So,
obviously, no and no.
Yeah.
Sparta and Troy, those are different places.
Yeah, I mean, there's
some similarities.
There would have been Spartans at Troy. Maybe, I don't know if Sparta was even founded by the time of the Trojan War. But it was the Greeks versus the Trojans, so it was like...
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, you do have the Spartans and Trojans both in California.
Yeah.
You got USC over there.
That's true.
I don't know what USC has to do with the city of Troy, but I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of different mascots that are out there that
just
get
don't
randomly
make any
chosen.
sense.
Yeah.
Then there's ones that are perfectly fitting, like George Washington University. It's like, hey, I know what our mascot is. Pretty simple there. Do we have the clip from? Yeah.
So this is Coach Ken Niumatalolo, head coach for San Jose. This was earlier in the week, and the question was posed about their dynamic wide receiver and their dynamic quarterback and their availability, because both of them had injuries in their game against Wyoming, but both came back in at some point during the game. So there's some question about their health and availability for tonight's game here in Logan.
We're very hopeful. You know what I mean? We'll see. You know what I mean? And so every day he looked better. I mean, he gutted it out there in pain. And the last drive just shows who the kid is. So we're hopeful. I mean, things look better and better every day as the week's gone on. But we're not 100%, but, we'll see.
And then Scudero he took a big shot. Is he going to be all right to play this week too?
Same thing. We're hopeful that those guys will play, but, we're not sure right now.
Yeah. It's a question. I don't know. I mean, at some point, I don't remember if this is one that I got, but another point in the course of the press conference, I think it was offensive coordinator Craig Stutzman talking a little bit about I don't think I have this clip, but about Eget getting hurt and coming out, and basically Eget communicated to the coaches that if I can throw, send me back in. Even if I feel like I can't throw, I'll take myself out. So that was basically his message to coaches when he was on the sideline, and felt like he was good enough to get back into the game. Obviously not healthy enough, or certain circumstances outside of his control to some degree didn't really help the team in Wyoming, and they ended up losing that game. One of several single possession games that they have played. But they're also very concerned about their kicking situation. Like they've only made...
They're 4 of 12.
Yeah, they're like 33% on field goal kicking. That's a problem. It's a real problem. And it's something that they've discussed, and they were supposed to be having like a contest this week to try to get their kicking problems figured out.
Yeah. Problem is these contests, like you're just simulating it in practice, and then all of a sudden you get into the game, and it's like you get one shot at this, and this is for all the marbles. I mean, maybe not. In the middle of the game, it's not like a game-winning kick, but it's like the pressure is just different, and kicking is such a mental game. Like sports in general are a mental game, but for something like kicking, where it's not as much athletic prowess. It's a lot like golf, where it's so much a mental game as opposed to physical prowess, and a lot of it comes down to just how good are you at maintaining the mental state, so that you can use the technique that you've taught yourself on the practice field. And then there's just a disconnect right there with their kickers right now.
Well, when you have that many single possession games, like having a good kicker matters. I mean, that's the difference between winning or losing.
I think literally one of their games they would have won. I think didn't they miss a game-winning kick against Stanford? Pretty sure I was watching that game. Maybe it was a different Stanford.
Well,
I was watching Stanford, Hawaii. That's what it was.
So here's Coach Ken talking about their problems with the kicking game.
We have to get better at field goal kicking. I mean, it's cost us, and so it's opened up again. We got one more day tomorrow of kicking, but we're charting them. You know, they both get the same amount of kicks from the same hash, and we're just charting whoever kicks the best this week is going to kick.
So it's a roll of the dice with the Spartans who's going to be helping out on special teams.
Yeah. So I was looking at it. I thought it was Stanford, but it was a different game, and Merriam and I've been watching this, but against Central Michigan, 56-yard field goal. So that's a long one. And
that's excusable.
Yeah, it's one that you can kind of get.
Understandable.
56 yards missed, and that was as time expired. They would have won that game against Central Michigan because they lost that one 16-14. You had 3 points, you get a 1-point win. Stanford, they didn't miss one in the fourth quarter. They missed one in the third quarter. So there was a lot of game that happened after a missed field goal that would have made it 23-14 in favor of the Spartans. At which point they scored a touchdown on their next possession. They could have gone up. I think they went for 2, I think, because they were trying to go up 14 points. So they would have, assuming they don't attempt the 2-pointer and just kick the PAT, they could have gone up 30-14 over Stanford. And then at that point, you play the rest of the game. Stanford ended up winning 30-29 with all the scoring that happened in the fourth quarter. But there's a lot of things that could have changed if they'd have made that field goal.
Yes.
In the third quarter. So that's something that could be a factor. It would. I've said this already this week. It would be just the Aggies' luck for San Jose State, for them to go 6 of 6 on field goals. Mind you, if you're forcing them to 6 field goals, then your defense is sort of doing something right. It's doing something wrong, but it's doing something right at the end.
Yeah, generally, I'm okay trading touchdowns or field goals for touchdowns. Sorry, other way around, trading touchdowns for field goals. But you want to, but if they keep getting down in that range and keep getting points and you're not, then that's a real problem.
Yeah, if you got to be stopping them for no points on at least a decent number of drives, or be having a really heavy offensive production, which the Aggies could very well have. If they're scoring touchdowns compared to San Jose field goals, yeah, you take that. A couple of texts kind of on this subject here, 9-15, saying maybe San Jose should find a kicker on YouTube, as in YouTube taught, like Hawaii, the Tokyo Toe.
They would love to have him. By the way, he's become such a sensation that they have figured out how to get Hawaii football games broadcast in Japan. They've figured out a broadcast deal in Japan to have 4 future games of Hawaii broadcast live in Japan. They've also put past games played by Hawaii on demand with their a TV partner there. So he's becoming quite the sensation in Hawaii and the Mountain West, trying to capitalize on it. So kudos to them.
Yeah, it's a good deal. And I think even someone affiliated with the official Heisman Trophy committee or whatever, I think did an interview with him or something.
That's funny.
At least I thought I saw a post to that effect. And then 8968 saying, speaking of kickers, is it possible the Aggies could get that kicker from Bear River? I'm not aware.
Bear River has a very good kicker. That's certainly been one of the bright spots for the Bears this year. They've had some injuries and some struggles this season, but his name suddenly escapes me. But they've got a kicker who's got a leg, and he's money. I
don't think Utah State's having much of a problem with their kickers.
No,
though.
I think Utah State's pretty good right now, but for the future, I mean, gosh, yeah, take a look at that kid. He's pretty solid for the Bears.
Yeah, looking at Utah State, because Tanner Rinker, I don't know. He's only attempted 4 field goals, and he's only missed the PAT that was blocked, right?
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, last week was his first field goal since game or week 1 or week 2.
He kicked like 2 or 3 in the first game, I think, and then he just didn't kick one because the Aggies were scoring touchdowns.
Right. Ideally, you don't want your field goal kicker out there.
Yeah, in an ideal world, you want him out there for PATs. And that's what he was doing. He kicked 7 PATs against Air Force, 6 against McNeese, 5 against Vanderbilt, and then went 2 of 3 on extra points, but also went 2 of 2 on field goals. So, yeah, we'll see if special teams has something in store for this one. San Jose's had their issues with special teams. Utah State's mostly been okay. Their kicking unit has been all right, save for the 1 PAT block. Punting unit, save for the near disaster against Vanderbilt. You really dodged a bullet there. Dodged a cannonball, really.
Yes, they get very lucky.
But other than that, Landon Recco, is that how you say his name?
I think it's Rico.
He's largely been solid as a punter, 44 yards per punt. So he had some good stuff out of special teams. Of course, the Aggies have been willing to run fakes. So we'll see if they have something in store for this one, anything in particular.
We're a little bit overdue for a timeout, so we'll take that now. Love the texts coming through. Continue to send them in. Let us know how you're feeling. We're just a few hours to kickoff. It's one of those rare opportunities for us to be on the full court press close to kick time and be part of your pregame festivities, if you will, getting ready for Utah State, San Jose State homecoming night for the Aggies. 435-339-0321 on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line.
Ski season is coming, which means season ski rentals. This is Mark at the Sportsman, where we have over 20 years of season ski rental experience. We rent to kids and adults. Come in to get season ski rentals for your entire family. We like to wait a little later in the fall because there is a chance your kids might grow out of their boots by the time ski season actually rolls around. You will get the right gear for your kids to ski this year at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Hi, it's Emily, and here at Serenoni, we know not everyone sleeps the same. Some people run warm, some love to bundle up, even during the summer. That's why we offer different fabrics and textures, from light and breathable to warm and weighted, including our softest Minky, Plush Lush, Minky Stretch, Waffle, and more. There's truly a blanket for everyone. Come shop our full collection in our store on 10th West in Logan, next to iFit, where you can feel the difference. Serenoni, wrapped in comfort, gifted with love.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is thrilled to welcome Dr. Jackson Deere to their team of trusted specialists. Dr. Deere joins Doctors Blotter and Robinette to provide exceptional medical and surgical care for your ears, nose, throat, and related structures of the head and neck. Appointments are now available. Whether it's allergies, hearing, or sinus concerns, Cache Valley ENT is here to help you live the life you deserve. Welcome Dr. Deere to Cache Valley and the team at Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, now serving Logan, Providence, Tremonton, Preston, and Montpelier.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and I am a brain cancer survivor. When I was 11 years old, I spent a lot of time at my local children's hospital for brain surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. When I was in the hospital, I had no idea how much the medical bills were costing my family, and the insurance didn't cover all the equipment and treatments I needed. Thanks to donations to my hospital, I received amazing care and was able to kick cancer's butt. Today, I am 16 years old, and I am so excited about my future, where I can graduate from high school and become a professional speaker to share my story and give back to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I believe if we donate to children's hospitals, we can change kids' health and change the future. You can help too. Give now at childrensmiraclenetworkhospitals.org and put your money where the miracles are. Thank you.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Let's see. 9315. What time is the Aggie pregame show? Sorry that Trump your guys' show, but nothing else trumps this show.
So the Aggie pregame trumps our show, but nothing trumps our show.
Well, the Aggie pregame show happens on a different station, so it doesn't.
Well, he's asking what time it starts, and that's at 5 o'clock.
That starts at 5. KVNU game day coverage will start at 5 with JD Walker and Stockton Jukes.
Are they over there yet?
Nope, not yet. I think JD just rolled in to start getting ready.
It's still other Jason.
Yes, it's Jason Williams in there for the people. But they'll go start at 5, and they will go right up to about 6:45, just right up to the pregame comments with Coach Bronco Mendenhall. Full play-by-play coverage will be on KVNU. And then when the game is over, we'll be back on again with KVNU Aggie Call, your chance to call in and text your reactions. Always love the phone calls, by the way. Call into Aggie Call. Love to get the reactions and hear it in your voice. But I threw this out there on the old X platform.
X-Twitter.
It's
my favorite way to say it.
The Vegas odds makers have Utah State favored by 4.5. ESPN prediction models, whatever, as Utah State favored at 67%. So things are looking in Utah State's favor, but how are Aggies feeling? Now, we had a lot of score predictions yesterday. All of them were in favor of Utah State winning. Some were kind of close, some not very. So I threw out 4 different options. Aggies all the way. Nail biter, but a win. Single possession loss. And Spartans spank Aggies. So only a few votes on there so far. But right now, the vast majority, 92% of those who have voted are looking at a win for Utah State. 61.5 as a comfortable win. About 31% saying it could be a close one.
Yeah, and that's, what we should be expecting. Aggie fans, they're going to be optimistic about this. Optimistic that they're going to bounce back from Hawaii, because in most of the games this season, you've seen relatively positive results. I mean, the Aggies have covered the spread in 5 of their 6 games. Hawaii was the first time that, at least by outside metrics, the Aggies underperformed. So when you see the Aggies technically overperform 5 straight games, then you only have 1 underperformance, there's some reason to be optimistic about that. It's just a matter of, were those 5 games somehow a fluke? Was there something that the Aggies were just getting away with? Because that would be, what would come up if it turns out the Aggies lose and they go on a losing streak, is maybe there was something that they managed to cover up. Defense is the one thing that I think of, but this is also a game where they can start to work on things on their defense and say, hey, look, Hawaii was just an anomaly. Because those things can happen. You can have games that are just anomalies where you play bad and you can't explain it. It's like, what happened there? And so I think Aggie fans are justifiably optimistic that they can get a win in this game. When most projections have the Aggies winning, it's hard to find an Aggie fan that's going to take, go against all of that. Not that it's an overwhelming, percentage by a lot of these projections. You mentioned 67% from ESPN. K4 has it at 61%. I think CFB Graphs had it around 58-ish% last time I checked. It was something in the high 50s. So about a 60-40-ish depending on who you're asking, ranging from 55-45 to 67-43. But the Aggies should win by, whether it's 1 possession, multiple possessions, but there is that still fairly wide window that they lose. And it's similar in a lot of ways to Hawaii, although in a lot of cases, most of those same metrics were having Utah State as, I think K4 had the Aggies losing. I think both ESPN and CFB Graphs had the Aggies winning that game against Hawaii. But still, very losable game. This one, by those metrics, not quite as losable, but still, again, a pretty wide window. The margins are going to be thin in this one. Unless the Aggies really perform at their peak. Because if they're playing at their best, they'll win this one by 2 or 3 touchdowns. But unless we see that, I think this is going to be a close game.
Well, the a lot hinges on the availability of the San Jose Stars, their quarterback and their dynamic wide receiver.
Yeah, if those two guys don't play, then it should be a 2 or 3 touchdown margin, maybe at least, and maybe potentially even more. Again, if the Aggies are playing at their peak, because those are the two guys to be worried about: the guy that can sling the ball around and the guy that's going to catch everything that's slung toward him.
But I mean, even that being said, their offensive coordinator, I forget his first name, Stutzman. This is a team that believes that they have a lot of weapons. They want to press the ball downfield. Scudero is a special talent. The other wide receivers are coming along, but they have just listening to him and watching their team. Their offense is clearly their strength, and they feel like they're pretty dynamic, and for good reason. But here are some of his comments about the weapons that they believe that they have on offense that will make it difficult for Utah State defensively to try to slow down.
So we feel like we got 4 or 5 really good receivers out there, and JC has a tight end, and we got some other guys that present some things that we could do and continue. But Matty Coleman's done a really nice job. We just got to continue to catch the football. You look at the 2 weeks ago, no drops. This one we had a couple, so those are some things. But Matty Coleman does a really good job of creating space and separation. And he's kind of like your security blanket out there too. You got a lot of weapons out there, and he lines up opposite of Danny Scudero, and sometimes we're in the slot together. They're paired up together, so you got a lot of shiftiness there. You got guys that can play off one another, and he does a really good job of catching the football. So it's nice having him out there.
So apologies on the audio. That's not me holding my phone to the microphone today.
Not this time.
Not today.
This wasn't Eric's issue.
That's how it was delivered from San Jose.
Yeah, but San Jose does have multiple good receivers. And that was kind of the big thing with Hawaii is they had a bunch of receivers. I know Ashlock ended up having a pretty good day, and Nick, what was the last name of it was Nick something for Hawaii. Senecal, that's what it was.
Yeah, Senecal.
Where he also had a pretty good day. San Jose, obviously, Scudero, your 50 catches for dang near 850 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's the big guy, but Kyrie Schultz. This is a guy who's got 34 catches for 374 yards and a couple touchdowns. You have 2 other guys, Leland Smith, Jackson Kane, and the tight end. They both have 20 catches for north of 200 yards and a couple touchdowns between them. So they've got 4 solid pass catchers, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end, all of whom could go off. Like if you somehow manage to smother Scudero and hold him to 2 catches, you could just as easily be beat by maybe Kyrie Schultz having a career day, 110, 150 yards. Like that's something that could happen. It's much more likely that Scudero just gets a ton of targets his way, but there are other guys that can burn you. And even if it's just 1 or 2 plays, like say it's 1 catch for 50 yards that isn't Scudero, that's something that can burn the Aggies. And you don't want to be giving up those big plays, and San Jose will go for those big plays. Again, I think they rank like top 10 in the country in average depth of target, where, again, that's a metric of how far does the ball travel. So they're slinging it downfield.
Right, they do. And they've seen the film. What worked for Hawaii last week, work the edges. And they know they can work the edges on Utah State. Go quick, and press on Utah State and test the USU secondary, because it's a very similar offense. San Jose doesn't run the ball very well. Hawaii doesn't run the ball very well, but they had success in the passing game. Why run when you can get 6, 7, 8 yards per pass? So San Jose has seen that film. They're going to try to replicate it. So the big question is, how much has Utah State learned? How much can they adjust and do better against the Spartans compared to what they did against Hawaii?
Yeah.
That is probably the biggest thing for me as we get ready for this kickoff later tonight.
Yeah, they need to make sure that teams aren't able to find the holes in their zone. I don't know if their defense is just being too easily read by opposing quarterbacks. I don't know if they're being a little too basic. I don't know what the issue is. There's a bunch of different issues that can go into this. They also blitz a lot, which can, limit how, it guarantees some kind of hole in the defense. So it's just a matter of maybe executing the scheme better, because if you're blitzing, you want to get to the quarterback. or if you have a defensive scheme, you know where the holes in the zone are, but if you can execute well enough or disguise your coverage well enough, then you can keep the quarterback guessing and they won't be able to find the holes in the zone. But Mike Alejado knew exactly where to throw the ball every time, and he was able to get there. And Utah State wasn't covering up the weaknesses that are inherent to their scheme, as their weaknesses inherent to every scheme. So I think that's obviously going to be or will have been a big key this week, is focusing on running the scheme well, so that opposing quarterbacks don't know, really quickly where to throw the ball. Because if you can keep them guessing, not knowing where they're going, and better yet, get pressure on them quickly so they have to make really quick decisions based on limited data, that's where Utah State can have a lot of success. Is don't let Walker get comfortable, and don't let him read your defense like a book, because that's what Alejado did a lot of times. Don't let that happen again, and you get yourself a win.
Another text coming through on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, which will help get us into our next topic, was the reason for the exhibition game tomorrow not being streamed to help drive ticket sales, or was there another reason? I remember that the exhibition game last year against Weber State was televised, and it looks like other Mountain West teams are having their exhibition games streamed on the Mountain West Network. Wish there was a way for some of us who can't make it to watch.
I'm pretty sure the decision to not stream it was entirely based on driving ticket sales. I don't know if there was really another reason. If there was, maybe it was like availability of local broadcasters to broadcast, or whether or not Scott Gerard would have been able to come up here. Whether it would have fit into his schedule, but because I don't know, he wasn't necessarily planning on coming here for an exhibition game. But last year with Weber State, that was televised, and ticket sales went to a charity or whatnot. So,
right. Yeah.
And I guess nobody cares about forcing ticket sales to raise money for charity, but when it's for the retention fund, they're trying to drive ticket sales as much as possible. And so not having it televised, and maybe there's some mild sense of, hey, maybe try and keep as many secrets as we can. I know the box scores are going to be up there. There's going to be reports, but maybe wait to put film of yourself out there. I know Utah State and Seattle have been going back and forth, basically explaining their game plans to each other, but that's those two, and they aren't going to play each other, barring a meetup in the NCAA tournament. So they don't really care about sharing that with each other, but they don't want to show non-conference opponents film yet. But again, I think the primary driver of that was they want people coming to the game.
9315. They need to find a way to have it televised, but everybody watching pay $5 to watch it. So make it pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Maybe.
I suppose. I suppose you did that because I get the limiting the television to get people to come, but it does hurt the people who it's they can't come no matter what. If you live in North Carolina or just out of state or wherever, or out of country even, it's well, you ain't coming to the game, you ain't coming to an exhibition game. And so they're kind of hurt in that sense. So I get it. It's not fun that way, but Utah State is trying to maximize the money they can get from this game. Because again, we're talking about how college is just this zero-sum game with money. It's get as much as possible, and that's what they're trying to do. If they can get another 400 or 500 people in the door because they know they won't be able to watch it, then that's a sacrifice that they kind of have to make, even if there's another 400 or 500 fans who are never going to be able to come anyway because they live far away. Again, they're willing to make that decision.
Yeah, look, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to see this Aggie basketball team over the course of the season. There's going to be more nationally televised games than we've seen, I don't know, if ever, for Utah State basketball.
It's been a while.
But try to maximize exposure. Sure, that does matter. But also, they're trying to drive as many ticket sales as they can for this event. 1:00 Saturday in the Spectrum. If you feel like you're not at a place financially or you can be a big money donor to help, fund a trip or keep a player on the roster, your ticket on Saturday does make a difference. And that's how you can help, even if it's just $20.
Yeah.
You know, if it's just for yourself or, bring a friend, just to buy a couple of tickets to come see this team. And also it's all general admission, right? So you get to maybe scoot up a little bit closer than normal, get closer to the action than you normally might, and watch this team.
Not that you're like really far away.
No, I mean,
in
there
any
aren't
game.
bad seats, honestly, in that arena. But this is bottom line here, we've seen practices, we've heard the coaches, we've interviewed the players, but that's all well and good. But how do they actually look against somebody else? And this is our first real chance to know just how versatile are they, just how deep are they. And I don't know that we get that totally answered because it's Seattle, but
Seattle can be a good team this year.
Seattle is a decent program. And so this is a really good early test for us to see what this basketball team really is. And so that's why I hope a lot of people will show up and buy their tickets and get there in person to see this team.
Yeah, and if you can't make it, we'll offer all the analysis we can. We'll be here on Monday to talk about, both the football game and the basketball game. I'll have written content as much as I can. Maybe I'll try and film video clips. They might let me do that. Maybe. I'll have to ask. I'll film video clips, anyway, during some games, but usually only very specific moments. To the end of the game.
2444. How did you know that I live in North Carolina?
Do you actually live in North Carolina, or are you messing with me?
I don't know. We do need to take a timeout here in the Full Court Press. Still more to get through. We'll have to continue to get your thoughts, your reactions, last-minute feelings for this football game tonight. Utah State taking on San Jose. 435-339-0321.
Express tires for less.
Safety and comfort on the road are Express Tire's top priority. As a Point S team member, count on peace of mind with an inclusive warranty that includes nationwide protection. Any brand, any size, better pricing. No appointment necessary on the highway at 3200 North Main.
Express tires for less.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Les Olson IT structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
When grid failures and severe weather cause power outages, your business might take a hit, or at home, you could lose your refrigerated food storage. Generac Standby Power Solutions help ensure an uninterrupted power supply. Generac is the #1 brand of standby generators. Get yours today from Golden Spike Electric, your trusted source for safety and security. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Young Power Sports in Logan is ready for winter fun coming up on Friday, October 24th. Don't miss the free avalanche safety class they'll be hosting from 3 to 5. Learn from the experts on how to stay safe out in the backcountry. And on that same day, you can get up to 50% off on all climb gear, jackets, bibs, gloves, helmets, everything you need to ride warm and safe in style. Plus, all used snowmobiles are going to be up to $1,000 off on that one day only. So go check it out. Young Power Sports Logan, your ride starts here. 435-339-0321. For those wanting to chime in, 2444 actually do live in North Carolina.
Oh, there we go.
Faithful out-of-state listener, either live or podcast. Try not to miss a show. Thanks to you guys for helping those of us who have moved out of the area to keep up with the Aggies.
Yeah, even if he moved far away. I had a brother who moved from Utah all the way to Wisconsin, though. He's made his way partway back to Wyoming. But yeah, always love to hear from Aggie fans out of state, as many as we can.
Yes, thanks for listening, wherever you may be.
Yeah, wherever you may be,
and whenever.
Yeah, whenever. Whether it's podcast, whether it's live, we appreciate all listeners.
And by the way, yesterday's podcasts are now loaded.
Yeah, so they're loaded. So if you want to go listen to our predictions, you can also find our predictions on Cache Valley Daily if you want the quick version. But yeah, you can hear all of our full thoughts, though. In about 15 minutes, you'll also be able to hear J.D. Walker and Stockton Juke. So I'm still peeking over there to see if they've kicked Jason out of his studio yet. Not quite.
Not yet.
He's got a few more minutes left to do for the people.
Yeah, I think they're talking movies or something out there today.
Yeah, well, I got kicked off KVNU for the coaches show the other day on Wednesday.
That's true.
I only got about half my game on.
You got preempted for an hour.
The good part of the game was kicked off of KVNU.
Let's see. So if you're still wanting to chime in, feel free. Just how you feeling as we're leading up to kickoff, 7:00 tonight, homecoming for Utah State against San Jose. But last night, it was the first game of the preseason in Salt Lake City for the Utah Jazz, hosting the Portland Trailblazers. Pretty exciting game. I mean, it was a tight game. Jazz ended up winning 132-129. And solid performances by a number of Utah Jazz players, notably Walker Kessler. In 26 minutes of action, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 1 for 1 from 3.
There you go. Get a 3-pointer in there. I know he's been trying to work on making himself at least kind of a 3-point shooter, but it might also just be preseason, so he's able to get away with that one. I wasn't able to catch this one live at all, but I did watch it the way Adam Silver intended us all to.
Just the highlights.
Just the highlights, especially Walker Kessler highlights. But yeah, I think... you're seeing him obviously play well. You want to see him continue kind of where he had a bit of a bounce back year last year. See him continue that. Getting the 8 assists is nice. And I think you get guys like Yusuf Nurkic, Kevin Love, and even Kyle Filipowski, who's a bit of a natural passer as a big man. Having those 3 guys with Walker Kessler being in an environment where all the bigs around you know how to pass and watching that every day, that's something that he'll be able to pick up. And if he can add that to his game, it only makes him an even more valuable player and could very well make him worth the contract extension that he's looking for, at least the monetary value on the contract extension he's looking for. So I want to keep seeing good things from him. Would have loved to see Ace Bailey play, but they're, being super careful with him. He's got those sore knees. Hopefully it's not like a chronic injury that he's going to deal with his whole career. I'd be really worried about that.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a flag, but he's young. His body is still growing and developing to some degree. So maybe it's just related to that. Who knows? As he's trying to play a much higher level of basketball than he's used to.
Yeah, it's going to put more wear and tear on his body. He's got to be physically ready to play a full 82-game season, though I highly doubt he's going to play more than like 70 games because I think they're probably going to be careful with him as they continue to try and develop him.
But Lauri Markkanen played.
Yep.
He got to see the floor. 15 points, 3 boards, 5 assists. He also had a block.
Yeah, only 21 minutes. So he was efficient in the time he was on the court.
Yeah, keeping his numbers limited. But you had a lot of different guys off the bench. Walter Clayton Jr. Now he finished with a -6 on the night. But I continue to be impressed just watching him play. He plays in control. He had Drew Holiday on him, messing with him, and that's never a fun matchup. But and Drew Holiday ended up with 24 points. But I liked what I saw from the bits that I did see of Walter Clayton Jr. and how he handled some of that pressure and tried to lead the team. Now he's still the 3-point shot's not really working for him yet in the preseason. As he adjusts to the further length, the NBA 3-point line. But I like the things that I'm seeing out of Walter Clayton Jr. at the point guard position for the Jazz.
Yeah, I'm just a little worried about the efficiency because that's the thing I've harped on over and over and over again. I don't know if you guys are tired of hearing me whine about the efficiency of young players, but we saw a lot of this inefficiency with Keontae George early. Of course, he's sort of overcoming that as he's getting a little older, and last night he was pretty efficient. So maybe Walter Clayton can overcome that. But like Isaiah Collier, all the Jazz point guards seem to have the same problem where you're fairly confident they can go out there and score. At least George and Clayton. Collier hasn't shown great scoring aptitude, but in the shots he does take, he's been relatively inefficient. So I'm a little worried about that because, I like the way Collier plays. I like the way Walter Clayton plays. Keontae George really solid as well in his role, but like, can they impact winning through their scoring, which for a couple of these guys is kind of their main thrust. Like Walter Clayton is supposed to be a scorer. If he can't do that thing effectively, that's worrying. But it's early in his career. He's got time. So no need to worry about it yet. Just put a pin in it and keep an eye on it.
Quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. Still more to discuss. Love to continue to hear from you as well on the Young Power Sports Logan text line 435-339-0321.
Cold weather is here, which means you'll be using your gas fireplace again. Let Advanced Fireplace and Stove, the 4-time Best of Northern Utah Gold Medal winner, help you get it ready for those cold Cache Valley winters. Schedule a service call with one of their service pros today and receive 20% off if you mention this ad. If you're building a new home, Advanced Fireplace and Stove can design and install a Heat and Glow fireplace. From traditional to modern, Heat and Glow has something for every design and every budget. Find out more at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Addiction is something in this day and age I think all of us have been touched by in some form or way. For me, 14 years ago, I lost my father to an opioid overdose. Addiction is something that whether you're struggling with it personally or you're watching someone you love struggle with it, it can feel like there's no hope. If you've lost hope or you're scared for someone that you love and you don't see hope on their path, call Renaissance Ranch today. You can learn more at renaissanceranch.net. They have a location right here in Logan.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Are you worried about the high Medicare supplement premiums or wondering what your prescription costs will be next year? There are so many Medicare options and it can feel overwhelming. That's why I'm here to help guide you through every choice. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493 to talk to a licensed local agent. No pressure, no cost, just clear personal advice you can trust. Don't wait. Changes must be made by December 7th. Call 752-9493 today.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
Interviews, analysis, and a little bit of fun mixed in. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Keep your car running at its best with the help from your friends at Napa Auto Parts. If you need a new battery or need new wiper blades, heaven knows we've had a lot of rain lately. How are your wiper blades handling all of that? Napa has the best brands and can even help you with installation right on the spot at the store. Locally owned from Preston to Providence, Napa Auto Parts.
Going to the Young Power Sports of Logan text line 5662 saying, feeling like a win for the Aggies by 2 touchdowns. Feel like the crowd won't be too good, though. More of the same attendance, unfortunately. Hope I'm wrong.
Early indicators are that this will be the best crowd of the season.
Yeah, I think it will be the best crowd of the season. I've seen a couple of mixed things. I heard, this was a couple of days ago, that claimed tickets from the herd were relatively low. Although, I think it was Brady Clark earlier on Twitter he literally went and just counted the tickets remaining in the stadium and estimated something like 24,000. I think
that'd be near a sellout. I doubt that.
And I don't think that's going to happen. But
it could be close to 20.
Yeah,
or just a little north of 20.
I think it'll be close to cracking 20,000. It might depend on how many students show up, but I think you'll get somewhere between like 18,000 on the low end, 21,000 on the high end.
And guess what? Because of tickets, speaking of tickets, we actually had a cancellation from the ones that we gave away last night. So your lucky day. If you wanted to go, but you haven't got your tickets yet, we have a pair of tickets.
We've pinged a couple of people, but we're just like, all right, first come, first serve at this point.
At this point,
if you don't have tickets and you want to go, I know it's kind of last minute. We're 2 hours out, but if you wanted to go, couldn't get tickets, want a free pair of tickets, make some last minute plans.
We will digitally transfer them to you. You'll have them instantly.
Yeah, so you don't have to come pick it up. So just first person to text in gets 2 tickets.
435-339-0321. You and a friend want to go watch Utah State tonight. I've got 2 tickets that are available right now. Be the first person to text in and let us know that you can use them, and they're yours. Stick around next hour. Still a lot more to discuss. Interesting stuff about the Pac-12 and the Mountain West lawsuit that's going on. We've had some coaches fired in college football, and we have these big buyouts. Makes us start to question, like, what's the value really of these big, fat coaching contracts when you're looking at needing to pay your rosters? So we'll debate the merits of both of those. Coming up next hour here on the Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The James Franklin fallout has turned into a nightmare for Penn State and a windfall for just about everybody else. The Nittany Lions' decision to move on from Franklin came with nearly $50 million in buyouts and a lost season, but it also set off a chain reaction across college football. When a powerhouse program pays that kind of money to make change, opening up a top job at a historic university, every elite coach in the country suddenly gains leverage. The first to cash in, Indiana's Curt Cignetti. Fresh off his program's resurgence, Coach Sig just signed a 8-year, $93 million deal. Penn State's desperation didn't just reset their own program, it reset the financial bar for everyone. Penn State's mistake is becoming everybody else's payday. And in college football, the coaching carousel just got a whole lot more expensive. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.